Uh, hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Let me fix this camera over here on Instagram. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Who's Getting Sued This Week, brought to you by NPL Legal Dish, aka me, Natalie Pierre Lewis. We are just going to jump right into it. Our recap last week. Last week, we talked about George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic. Hey, Rhonda, being sued by a producer for 40-year-old copyrights that he knew about 40 years ago and just decided to sue for last year. He lost because you only have 3 years from the date that you know of copyright infringement to file a case. We also talked about how Trump has been talking, big stuff about putting tariffs on Mexican goods. Meanwhile, he filed for a Mexican trademark himself. So we'll see if that happens. Hi, voluptuous you. And we all talked about the Musi app. This was an app that basically streamed YouTube videos and then took the YouTube ads out and put their own ads. They were sued for, copyright infringement and trademark infringement. And Apple took them off of their their app store, and they sued Apple, saying that Apple, this case we got against YouTube, that ain't none of your business, so you shouldn't have taken us off the off Apple. So they're currently suing Apple and Apple for taking them off the App Store. So those were our big stories last week. This week we have a lot of stuff that we are talking about, so buckle in with me. For those of you who are watching the title, hey Brandon, is that a request? Are you requesting to be online? Yes. So I have one guest that I am waiting to come online because I want to talk to her about. I want to get her input about one of these stories because she is a big Chris Brown fan. And if you're watching on Instagram, if you're watching on Instagram, the title of this show is called Chris Brown Owes You Money. All right, but we're going to get to that story a little later. I want to start tonight with Fortnite. If you or someone you know, probably a child, plays Fortnite, please give me some type of video game emoji or give me a comment in the comment box. If you or someone you know plays Fortnite, please give me some type of video game emoji, because you may be entitled to compensation, particularly if you are a parent. Okay, so this is why I'm asking about if you guys know about Fortnite. So if you haven't heard, Fortnite has been fined $245 million by the FTC for basically running an in-app game charge scam. You can actually go to, hold on, let me share this screen with y'all right quick. You can actually go to the FTC's website and you can see this case on the FTC website, where they are talking about Fortnite refunds. FTC sends payment to Fortnite of gamers who were charged for unwanted items. So here's the breakdown basically of what happened, right? So Epic Games, which makes the Fortnite game, they charged for unwanted purchases in the game. You have to buy stuff. I have never played Fortnite. Everything that, I'm just going by what they say. I'm not a video game person. So you have to purchase things in the game, right? So they were charging people for unwanted purchases. Then most of the people who play Fortnite are kids. They are under the age of 18. So they have to use their parents' credit cards or bank accounts to purchase these things on Fortnite. Fortnite was found to have let kids rack up charges without their parents' permission. And then on top of that, if people disputed the charges, Epic Games would lock them out of their account. So basically, Epic would, they would charge for something you didn't buy, or let your kid buy something without your permission. And then when you complained, they would lock you out of the account. So the FTC looked into this and they said that Fortnite, you cannot do this. You need to refund people their money. So they fined them $245 million. I'm just going to put these Fortnite visuals up here for y'all so you don't just have to look at me. And the average refund is about $114. So if you think you may be entitled to a refund from Fortnite, what you can do is there is a website called FortniteRefund.com/file-a-claim. All right. They are accepting applications until January 10th, 2025. If you are trying to get a refund from Fortnite, here's what you are going to need. You need to prove that you were charged for unwanted items from between January 2017 and September 2022. Your link isn't working. Hold on. Let me try and send it to you again. Yes, you need to have been charged for unwanted items between January 17 and September 2022. Your child needs to have made charges to, or your child needs to have made charges to a credit card without your knowledge between January 2017 and November 2018. I sent it again, Candy Cape Cod. What else? And also, if your account was locked after the dispute between January 2017 and September 2022, you may be entitled to compensation. You're going to need a claim number if you filed a claim with Epic Games, and you're also going to need your Epic account ID number. Okay, so for those of you who maybe someone whose child plays Fortnite, you don't know, the average refund is about $114, and you can use that $114, and they are taking claims up until January 10th, 2025. All right. So good luck to all of you, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Okay. Candy Cape Cod, I resent you the link. Can you try again? Because I want to talk about this Chris Brown story, but I'm waiting for you. Okay. In the meantime, while she does that, our next story of the night. Do we have any Real Housewives of Atlanta fans or people who are Bravo TV fans? If you are a Bravo TV fan, actually, before we get to that, let's go back to the Fortnite story, right? The reason why I brought that story up is because when you play these games, there's contract. There's a series of contracts that happen, and you don't think about it because you're just pressing buttons as you're playing it. But whenever you are purchasing an in-app purchase, that is a contract between you and the company, saying the company is saying, hey, we have this for sale for this much. Do you want to buy it? And then you say, yes, I want to buy it. And you press it, and you get it, and then you get your item. That whole transaction is a contract in itself. But if you are an item that you see you have been charged for by Epic Games, you never asked them for it, there was no contract between you that they could make that purchase, because you have to approve the in-app purchases, right? I play Candy Crush. I have played Candy Crush for years. When I tell you I have never spent $1 on Candy Crush, because they tell you exactly, this thing costs $1.99, this thing costs this and this and this, and I'm not paying for no video game, okay? So if you as Epic Games are you're charging people for things they didn't buy, you're letting underage people purchase things without permission, that's an issue, because you don't have a contract with these people to do that. So and it's fraud, it's misrepresentation, so that's why they have to pay out this $245 million settlement. Okay, all right. Canna Cape Cod, if your link is not working for StreamYard, let me know and then I will bring you onto Instagram. Okay. Moving on to our next story, going back. Okay. Real Housewives of Atlanta fans, will you please raise your hands up, or Bravo fans? Okay. Give me a TV emoji. If you watch particularly Real Housewives of Atlanta, give me a TV emoji. If you're a Real Housewives of Atlanta fan, you have probably heard the news recently that one of the former husbands of one of the housewives is in a bit of a legal trouble and is going to prison. So, Peter Thomas, serial entrepreneur, ex-wife of Cynthia Bailey, right? He is going to prison for 18 months for tax fraud. Okay. All right, let me finish this Peter Thomas story and then I'll bring you on. So Peter Thomas, I'm sure you guys, if you pay attention to the Housewives of Atlanta franchise, he has a series of restaurants called Bar One. He opened one in Baltimore, one in Charlotte, one in Miami, of course, one in Atlanta. Most of them are closed now. Now, Peter Thomas, while he opened all of these restaurants, he never seemed to turn a profit. And from what I heard, payday was always a question for the employees. From now, someone who I watch, who was friends with one of the chefs from Peter's restaurant, said that Peter would not pay the employee for months at a time, but he would, give them other incentives. So the chef didn't have a car, so he let her ride around here in his SUV. But she still wasn't getting a paycheck. So this is happening over at all of the Bar Ones, right? And most of them are closed now. And so if Peter didn't have the money to pay his employees their salary, of course, he didn't have the money to pay the employment taxes. So for all of these restaurants that Peter owned, he never paid the employment taxes to the point that he owed the government about $2.5 million, right? So Mr. Thomas will be, spending the next 18 months in a, some type of institution, because when you don't pay your taxes, you're going to jail. Okay. Y'all have to pay your taxes. Okay. The government, there's this song by Ludacris. I forget what it was called. But he said, look, the biggest gang out here is the federal government. They are getting their due no matter what. So it is very important, ladies and gentlemen, that you pay your business taxes so you don't end up in prison for 18 months like Peter Thomas. Okay. We wish him good luck. But from what I have heard, his restaurants, he's not paying the employees. I've heard the vibe is not really that great. The food isn't really that great. Not everybody, look, restaurants are hard. If you are not passionate about the restaurant business, please don't enter it, because the profit margins are razor thin, and most restaurants go under in the first 5 years. Okay. And that's probably what happened to Peter Thomas. They said he took all that money, he was spending it, on lavish vacations and stuff so he could look good, and not keeping up with the taxes and things like that. And I know that you weren't making that much money from the Bar Ones. Okay. Hi, Vince 301. But good luck to Peter Thomas. Now, Canna Cape Cod, are you ready? We're about to talk about your man. Y'all, Chris Brown and Lil Wayne owe you money. Chris Brown and Lil Wayne owe you money. Okay? How do I want to add you. You ready? Can you send a request? Oh, go. Here we go. Go live with Canna Cape Cod. Here we go. All right. Y'all, I'm bringing on somebody who is a Chris Brown stan. She loves Chris Brown. That is, she has always said, if Chris Brown comes to her bed and breakfast, she's not telling nobody till he leaves.
Chris Brown don't owe me nothing.
What?
Chris Brown don't owe me nothing.
Okay.
I feel like the government needs to back off the boy. He didn't know.
No, okay, so all right, so I'm on here for those who are watching on StreamYard. I'm on with Nicole Butler, who is the proprietor of Cannon Cape Cod, DC, the East Coast's first all-inclusive resort. Yes, all-inclusive resort. Yes, so go check her. She's on here with me on Instagram if you want to find her IG and stuff. All right, but I wanted to bring her on here because I wanted to bring her on here to defend her man. I need you to defend your man, Chris Brown. Okay, so now,
Lil Wayne, my favorite R&B star and my favorite.
Yes, Chris Brown and Lil Wayne, right? So during the pandemic, listen, we were all down bad, right? Hey, Leaks Dope. We were all down bad. Everybody was home. People were doing PPP loans. We was getting checks from the government, right? Stuff was messed up. And the same was true for entertainment venues. So theaters, concert venues, anywhere that there were performances, those places were shut down because we just couldn't go, right? So the government's like, okay, we don't want these places to shut down, so we're going to help them out. So they had something called the Shuttered Venues Grant. And it was a grant for places that did entertainment, that provided entertainment, so that they could keep the lights on, so they could pay their staff, so they could, so they could just make sure that everybody wasn't going to end up on the street, right? So it was
known about the shuttered venue.
So it was as opposed to being a people loan, it was a people grant, right? So if you got the money, you didn't have to pay it back. Now, these stipulations for getting the money were just that you had to show that your revenue decreased by like 50%. So it didn't matter what you had in the bank. It just had to matter that you didn't have anything else coming in, right? So I guess Chris Brown and Lil Wayne and other celebrities, they weren't the only ones.
I was going to say Alice in Chains, DJ Marshmello.
Wow. She really did her research so she could defend her man.
Yes, I did.
She really did her research so she could defend her man, y'all. Okay.
This is not an isolated incident. I am Jack.
Yes. So, the celebrity accountants, they found out about this grant, and they were like, hey, I could get some money for my client. Now, most venues only got about $300,000, right? To stay open, and it helped them. It helped them stay alive. Meanwhile, Lil Wayne got $8.9 million. Chris Brown got $10 million. And do you know what these gentlemen spent it on? Money, trips, and parties. Okay.
I was gonna say women and fake tours.
Yes. So Lil Wayne got $8.9 million, and they broke down how he spent his grant. He settled debts to his ex-manager. He paid commission to his current manager. Hey y'all. He spent $1.3 million on private jets. He paid lawyers, accountants. He spent about $500,000 on clothes. He did a little of it on the people who work on his shows. He spent about $327,000. He didn't spend any of
it on hair care.
He did not. He also settled debt to a former accountant. He spent about $14,000 on women, and it just literally says women, y'all. And everything else was $1.3 million. Okay, now this is all. These grants were funded by our tax dollars. I want my money back, Lil Wayne. I want my money back. Okay. Now let me tell you what Chris Brown spent his on.
Oh Lord.
Hold on. Let me go over here. Nicole came ready to defend her man. I'm crying.
I got no.
Hold on. Okay, so Chris Brown got $10 million. Okay, he pocketed $5 million just straight off the bat. He said, "This is mine." Okay, He spent 1.3 million on insurance. He gave about 800,000 to his manager. He spent about $500,000 on accountants, another $500,000 on lawyers. He spent about 400,000 on crew payroll. Out of the $10 million, he spent 400,000 on what he was supposed to spend it on. He
Out of 10 million.
He used that money to fund a celebrity basketball tournament. He also used it to fund his birthday party at $80,000, and everything else was $1 million. Okay. So now keep in mind, this isn't illegal. It's not illegal. These were all grants that were available. Their accountants, from whatever perspective, from what perspective you're looking at it, you might say their accountants are geniuses or their accountants are crooks, right? But either way, can't nobody sue them. It was a grant provided by the government. But I personally, as a tax-paying American, would like something in return for all this tax money. Chris Brown and Lil Wayne, can I get some concert tickets?
That wasn't set up well. Those PPP grants were not set up.
Right. I would like some concert tickets or something. A signed autograph album. I want some compensation for this money.
A couple free concerts, a free tour.
Yes, I want my portion of this $10 million that you received, sir. Okay, but why am I bringing up this story? One, because really y'all agree, but two, also having a good accountant in your corner is essential as a business person. Your accountant is going to be able find loopholes and get you $10 million when you don't need it. Okay. So it's really important to have a strong team behind your business, a good attorney, a good accountant, so that you can stay ahead of the game. And then when things like this come up, take advantage. Now, I still want my tickets, Lil Wayne and Chris Brown, but kudos to your accounting team, right?
So why is this even news then? If it's not illegal, they don't owe it back. Who's calling him out on it?
I think this was a post by Business Insider, and they're so let's go back to the article and check at the top and see what the point of the article. How rich musicians bills American taxpayers for luxury hotel shopping sprees and $1 million bonuses. This is kind of an extension of, when they were exposing everybody who took advantage of the PPP loans. I think this is them saying, look, we may not be able to prosecute them, but we want you to know that these people took your tax money. Right.
Well, listen, now we know and we don't care. So
I care. I would like some tickets, Chris Brown and Lil Wayne.
Y'all can go after Lil Wayne, but Chris didn't know. And he got all the kids to support. It was.
He spent $80,000 on his birthday party. Okay, no, ma'am. Chris Brown.
I'm just saying, it's not right.
Right. Listen, I want one of them photo sessions where he's like, all posing with the girls like a prom picture. I want one of them.
That's what I want.
Okay. All right. So, guys, what do you think about that? What do you think about this? These celebrities taking advantage of this grant? Now, it's totally legal. Nothing they did was illegal, but should the government or whoever, should the government have put a kind of a cap on, well, you need to have this kind of budget looking before you can apply for it, right?
And you know what? The thing why I say they were mismanaged, the whole grants were mismanaged, was because with an artist who were based on tour revenue. Artists don't tour every year. So if both of them could prove that they made that kind of money on tour in the previous year, they weren't due to tour again for another 3, 4, 5 years anyway. So, it was kind of it was double dipping to get last year's salary this year when you were never really expecting last year's salary this year from your own work.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
it wasn't wrong, but it was like double wrong because, their income fluctuates a lot on tour years.
Right.
And it's usually enough to float them, for another 4 or 5 years till the album comes out. So,
right.
Yeah, that's wrong. Even for Chris Brown, that was wrong.
Yeah. So, moral of the story is get you a good accountant. All right. For those of you who may have just tuned in, you are watching Who's Getting Sued This Week, brought to you by MPL Legal Dish. I'm Natalie Pierre-Lewis, host of the show. This is where we learn business and legal concepts using the blunders of your favorite celebrities, okay? So we have talked about Fortnite. We've talked about Peter Thomas. We've talked about Chris Brown, Lil Wayne stealing our money. Huh? Oh, yes. Okay. So, listen, another week, another saga of this in this Diddy case. Y'all, I'm tired. I'm tired. Okay. But as you know, see, already I feel like the lawyer who is representing all of these victims against Diddy, he needs to recuse himself because we know way too much about him. Right now, Tony Buzbee, who is the attorney who is representing all of the accusers against Diddy. He has about 120 different cases filed against Diddy. He is now being sued by a former client for possibly infecting them with an STD and for misconduct. Okay. Now, here's the
attorney.
Huh?
The attorney.
The attorney, not the accusers, not nobody else. The actual attorney who's supposed to be filing all these things is being sued by a former client for infecting them with an STD. Now, right off the bat, I don't want you as my attorney. I want y'all to think about Tony, after all this is done, think about Tony Buzbee's career as an attorney. Who's going to hire him again?
That's just
because we know way too much about him. Usually, lawyers are not supposed to get into the mix when it comes to representing their clients. Your job is to be the silent gun. You just kind of like that person in the shadows. Meanwhile, Tony Buzbee, you are the headlines these days. So Tony Buzbee is being sued by a former client who actually, when you dig into the story, they dated first. So Tony Buzbee was dating this lady. Apparently, she was married. They dated for a while. She wanted to divorce her husband, so she hired her boyfriend. Yes, the attorney is taking up too much space. Hold up. Rounduna said Chris Brown and Lil Wayne about to do a tour together? Wow. Okay.
No, just because they got all this money.
Oh, run me a free ticket. Okay.
But that would be one or two.
Right. So she, the client, apparently she dated Tony for a while, and then I think she was married, and she's like, well, I don't want to be with him no more. So she's like, well, let me just hire my boyfriend to, represent me in my divorce case against my husband. So now she's saying that, during their, while she was his client, that there was misconduct. She said that he basically tried to settle things for his pocket rather than hers. So if you guys remember, we talked about how before we knew it was Jay-Z, when Tony Buzbee was being sued for extortion, they said that he called them and wanted to get some money, right? So essentially, the former client is saying, Tony Buzbee, he threw me under the bus so he could make some extra money. Okay. Now, in retaliation for this, Tony Buzbee is now suing Roc Nation, saying that Roc Nation has been impersonating officers of the court in order to persuade former clients of his to sue him.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So Jay-Z suing Tony Buzbee. Tony Buzbee suing Roc Nation. Tony Buzbee suing Diddy. Tony Buzbee's former client is suing Tony Buzbee. Tony Buzbee, you are too visible, sir. You need to recuse yourself from this because there's too much controversy surrounding you. We're no longer hearing about these victims. We're hearing about you. So this is a case of just what you call it, public brand tarnishment. As an attorney, there's a certain amount of esteem that comes with the title of attorney, that you're a lawyer, right? But now we see you out here being messy, sir. Don't nobody want to hire you.
No, he's running amok. I heard he like smashed the champagne glass in somebody's face.
Right. The person who's suing him, she said that he physically abused her.
He needs to go.
Yes. So
He'll be the reason Diddy gets off.
right. So this is what, ladies and gentlemen, you know how when what's his name, Suge Knight was talking about Diddy, he said, if you want to be with a record label, with a producer that don't want to be all up in the videos and all up in your records, this is what he's all up in the news. Okay. Right. And it's like you're taking away from these victims. So yeah, Tony Buzbee has a lot on his plate right now. And if I was someone who was being represented by Tony Buzbee, I might remove him as my representation. Anybody here, would any of you think about hiring Tony Buzbee for, apparently he's a divorce attorney,
Not
as
this time.
huh?
Not at this time.
Not at this time. Right. So good luck to you, sir. And wrap it up.
But side note, I just heard that and this I might be late, but I just heard that Puffy and Luigi have the same lawyer.
Puffy and Luigi.
The assassin, the healthcare assassin. They have the same attorney now.
That they must be doing that pro bono. They got to be doing that pro bono. Round Nunes said she'll represent herself before she hired Tony.
Before his ass, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I heard they just retained him.
They retained him or they volunteered. I feel like they're doing this for
Allegedly they retained.
who retained? I need to know who's paying the legal bill.
Like women of America that are in
They put money on his books. They put money on his books. They paying for his representation.
Offered him a place to stay when he gets out.
Oh my God.
Gets out.
They gonna be sending him edible arrangements in prison. I'm telling you.
He gonna need it.
Yes. But yes, so this is brand tarnishment. He is tarnishing his reputation as an attorney because he want to be all up in the videos. All right. And think about this as your own brand as a business owner, or or whoever, a creative in the marketplace. You don't want to let your personal issues overshadow your business. Yes, we all have things that happen in our lives, but for the most part, we will keep our business, because our business, unless you're a reality star, usually has very little to do with our real lives. Okay. So yes, good luck to this lady who got an STD. Hopefully it was curable. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, HIV rates are at an all-time high. Wrap it up. Okay. All right. So this may not be our final story for the evening, because I have one more thing I want to talk about. But in the spirit of the holiday season, how many of y'all have an elf on the shelf? If you have or had an elf on the shelf, please give me some type of Christmas emoji, a Christmas tree or something, right? So whether you love them or hate them,
does elf on the shelf.
She does. They have a Jesus version.
Really?
Yes. So instead of looking for the elf on the shelf, you look for Jesus, and then every time you find him, there's like a verse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So elf on the shelf, even if you never had one around noonish, you know what elf on the shelf is, right? It's a toy that mostly parents will bring out for their younger children around the holidays. And it's supposed to be like, oh, the elf is watching you, be good during the holidays. I feel like that's kind of creepy and voyeuristic. It's like Big Brother's watching you to make sure that, you're good for Christmas. Mind your business. All right. And elf on the shelf is so popular that, we have memes. heard of on the shelf. Here's Snoop on the on the stoop. Here's you know, yes, right. So this is a very well-known brand. I'm actually gonna pull up the website for you. The reason I didn't pull it up beforehand is because it's a very active website and it was slowing down the video, and I didn't want it to what the crap. Okay, here we go. I didn't want it to mess up my broadcast, even though I think it's going to right now. So let me do this presentation real quick for y'all, just in case someone okay, just in case somebody doesn't know what Elf on the Shelf is. Here we go. There you go. You see the Elf on the Shelf, right? So Elf on the Shelf is a well-known brand. Well-known, people know it. It's become a cultural regular, right? And it is trademarked, right? Problem is, there's a lady out in where's this lady live? Hold on. No, this lady, there's a lady named Elena Jenkins. Okay. Elena caught herself making her own elves on the shelf, right? And not only
she did elves on the shelf.
No, she did Elf on the Shelf. Elf on the Shelf,
okay,
right?
Okay.
Not now. It wasn't just that she was selling elves, right? Because if it was just a matter of selling elves, even though the image of Elf on the Shelf is copyrighted, there could probably be an argument as to who has propriety over what an elf looks like, right? But Miss Jenkins not only was selling her own elves, she was calling them Elf on the Shelf, which is a trademarked phrase. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot use somebody's trademark to sell your own item, okay? That's like taking somebody's test paper, erasing their name, and putting your name on the paper, right? So this lady, who has no relation to the company that makes Elf on the Shelf, is out here making her own Elf on the Shelf and calling it Elf on the Shelf. So if somebody buys it, they might think that it's from the actual company. And let's say she's making crappy elves and the elf, I don't know, disintegrates or falls apart. And somebody goes to the Elf on the Shelf company and leaves a bad review and says, your elves are crappy, right? Because they didn't know that was not an authorized Elf on the Shelf product, that will negatively impact the company that legally owns the trademark for Elf on the Shelf. So rightly so, they are suing Miss Jenkins for trademark infringement, because you can't just put somebody else's name on your stuff to sell it, okay? So when you guys are out here making, even if you're trying to make, you're making a more affordable version of something else, please do not use the name. I remember everybody was trying to make their off-brand Barbie stuff, and y'all were getting caught left and right, okay? Barbie got that on lock, okay? Barbie has it on lock. Be careful out here, all right? Huh?
The bootleg elf.
Hold up. Let me, where's an Elena Jenkins Elf on the Shelf? Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Y'all look too. Look up Elena Jenkins Elf on the Shelf images. Oh, I think I found it. Hold up. That was quick. Is this it? Hold up. Oh, shoot. Okay. I found it. It's right on her page, y'all. This was first, so you can see it. Hold up.
So wait a minute. When a big company like that sues an individual, is it just a cease and desist, or do they want some money?
They might want some money depending on how much she sold.
Okay.
So This is Elena's Elf on the Shelf.
Wait, put it down a little bit. Okay.
This
Elf on the tree, but I get it.
Can you see it?
Yes. So it's almost like a little Christmas ornament type elf.
Right.
Could be too.
But she's calling it Elf on the Shelf. Yeah.
Not cool, Elena.
Huh?
I said not cool, Elena.
Not cool at all. So Elena's might have to end up paying quite a bit of money because Elf on the Shelf is very popular. I don't know if you guys remember this Australian shoe seller. They were fined $500,000 because they were using the name UGG on their shoes, and the company that owns the name UGG said, "Oh no, you don't." And this one person owes the UGG company $500,000. So don't think that because you're just
based on how many UGGs they sold, or just based on the violation.
It can be based on a number of factors, like if you are a person, like let's say the company contacts you and they cease and desist, and you just keep going, and even though they've told you that it's theirs, then the court, they might say, well, you were doing this on purpose. You knew exactly what you were doing, and they might fine you 3 times what you actually owe in order to punish you. They might give you punitive damages. So it's so when somebody sends you a cease and desist, it's not a game. That is the start of the paper trail for them to show that you knew exactly what you were doing. So we will keep an eye on this Elf on the Shelf story and see, maybe they'll settle, maybe she'll get a judgment against her, who knows. But when you are out here in these creative streets, be creative. Don't use somebody else's. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how to make it more. If you're trying to build your brand, you don't want to build it on somebody else's back. I don't know if y'all remember, how many of y'all have ever used Purell hand sanitizer? We all know Purell, right? Purell always advertises itself as eliminates 99.99% of bacteria. Then the FTC found out that Purell only eliminated about 70% of bacteria and said it was false advertising. The problem was Target marketed their antibacterial as comparable to Purell with the 99.99% elimination of antibacterial, and now they got in trouble. So this is why you don't want to build your brand on somebody else's back, y'all, okay? Be individual. Yes, it might be ugly at first. You can fix it later. Huh? What?
Somebody else could be wrong.
Exactly.
Copy is even worse.
Right, exactly. So so it's just very important that you are individual about you don't be your own person, have your own style, like me, what I do, I'm not the person who's the only one who does what I do. But the people who gravitate towards me, it's because I have my own spin on things. They enjoy the way that I present the information. Now, somebody else, they're probably doing the same thing, but the way they present it, another group of people like them. It's the same thing in business. When you go into the grocery store, there's like 100 different types of bread, but it's all bread, right? But they're all different. And you can be individualistic even in a saturated market. Okay. So, do we have any? Oh, the last story that I wanted to share with y'all real quick. Okay. How many of y'all currently own any Ralph Lauren polo merch? What's that song about where Trick Daddy goes, are those Durego G's? No, I mean, they polo.
I think my kids have some.
Right. So Ralph Lauren, they own the polo brand. And we know that, in fashion, infringement is just par for the course, right? There's always a Chinese knockoff of something. Well, Ralph Lauren is tired of China's mess. Ralph Lauren went all the way over to China and found the companies that were making up this fake polo clothes and sued them in China and won. So Usually when businesses are they're trying to get to the Chinese companies, they try and sue from here, and you're not most likely you're not going to get a settlement because you're going to have to find that company in China, right? Ralph Lauren went over there and found the companies first and then sued them. So they're probably going to get their money. And actually the Chinese court awarded them money that was, I think it was 3 times the usual awarded amount, just because of the depth of infringement. They were like, look, they got dog, sorry. Okay. But yeah, so when you are, again, this is about zealous protection of your brand. Ralph Lauren is a global brand. They said, oh, no, China, you're not going to be selling your knockoff polo, not on my watch. So they went over there and found them. Okay. So as an owner of a trademark, as an owner of a brand, I'm not saying you got to go all the way to China, but it's important that you zealously protect your brand. Make sure nobody's using your stuff without your permission. Okay. What is this? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. So those were the, yes, Ralph absolutely pulled up and went to the trunk. He popped the trunk and said, "What's up?" Ralph's representative. Ralph, I don't know. Is he? Is Ralph Lauren allowed, y'all? I don't know. Anyway, the Ralph Lauren machine pulled up and popped the trunk on the Chinese companies. All right. Yes. So those are the stories that I wanted to share with you guys today. We talked about the Fortnite refund. We talked about Peter Thomas going to prison for 18 months. We talked about Chris Brown concert ticket. We talked about Tony Busby being sued by a former client for infecting her with an STI. We talked about Elf on the Shelf infringement. We talked about Ralph Lauren pulling up in China saying, "Run me my money."
He is alive. He's 85.
Okay.
He could have very well been in the back of the limo.
Hey, given the orders.
Just to make sure.
Given the orders. Yes. So do we have any questions or comments about those stories? If you do, please put them in the comment box. I am going to be doing a video shortly on trademark, choosing your classes of goods and trademark. If you watched my last one on the trademark changes, you know that things are shaking up with the USPTO. I'm shooting another video. It's going to be up in the next 24 hours or so. I'll let you guys know, but I'm going to show you guys how to choose your classes properly so you don't get overcharged and you pick the right things. All right. So keep an eye out for that. As well, follow my lovely co-host, Kenna Cape Cod DC. She hosts a morning show Tuesday and Thursday mornings on Rig TV. You can find it on Roku. What else? Amazon Fire TV. And what is it? Shop Bottle something?
Oh, Shop.
Type it in the comments over there, please. But yeah, check her out as well. Make sure that you check out my archived videos on YouTube. They are all there for your viewing delight. Have a wonderful evening, guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.
See ya.